In May of 2010, these two sycamore trees marked the entrance to the new and improved Virginia Museum of Fine Arts. The 165,000 square foot expansion, about 4 acres, will cover art from pre-Columbian to 21st century. Today we got a behind the scenes look at what will be in the top 10 comprehensive art museums in the nation.
Well, you know, the number one purpose is actually the most important reason. It's why we exist. It's about the collection. We're going to show 50% more art from our own collection in this wing, and because of this wing. For special exhibitions, we're going to have more than twice the space we've ever had, and we're going to bring the world of art to Virginia. You might ask, why? Why are you putting plywood on all the walls? Well, think about at home when you're trying to hang a picture and you've got drywall walls with studs. Either find a stud or you get one of those other kind of hangers, and then it's still got the ability to fall off the wall. Well, in the case of an art museum, we take all kinds of extra measures, and in this case it's much easier, much less expensive over the long haul, and much better to protect the collection, to clad all of the walls first with a double thickness of plywood. On top of the plywood will go our drywall. On top of the drywall we'll do skim coats of plaster. In these galleries the ductwork is already up. The ductwork actually goes into the walls, and I'll show you up on the third floor what I mean. But this is a finished example of what happens. The ductwork actually is fed through grills here. It's a low velocity system that you won't hear it, you won't really feel it, other than that you will be comfortable, because the system is designed to provide it in smoothly and quietly, so that we as people, and of course the artwork, will be in a steady state environment that we keep right at about 70 degrees and about 50% humidity. But your number one risk in an art museum isn't somebody coming to steal a work of art. Your number one risk, without an exception, is fire. And because fire is your number one risk, it's better to have a wet painting than a burnt painting. The fire suppression system is a double protective system. It's a system that's dry, and it takes one activation first with a fire alarm to fill the pipe with water, and then it takes a second activation to be able to actually have the sprinkler heads go off. So you have a protective level that's twice over. What you don't want to have with water in the pipes, you have the potential for leakage from the pipes themselves. This way, the first time water goes into the pipe is when you have an alarm. Then the sprinklers come on when there's the second alarm to the system, so that it's sure that there is actually a fire or something that will turn into a fire. We're standing in the new Conservation Center. This is where, in this massive space, as far as the eye can see, we'll be doing conservation of paintings, conservation of sculpture, furniture, works on paper. This is one of the finest and largest conservation centers in an art museum today when it's finished. Well, we've had a conservation program for 30 years, but it's been stuck in corners of the museum. It's never been together. They've never had anywhere near the space when you add it all up. In fact, it's probably about a quarter of the space that we will have. And what we've added, skylights, these wonderful large north-facing windows for the painting conservators. I mean, this is exactly what every conservator dreams about. And you think about all the works of our art in our collection. Most of them, other than contemporary and modern works, were created using natural light. They were painted during the daytime. And natural light, particularly northern light's always been a favorite, particularly in the last 400 or 500 years. We are in the Claiborne boardroom. This is one of our private dining rooms for special events, board meetings, conferences. We actually have 3 separate dining rooms up here on the 3rd floor, including this one, a smaller one, and then the main dining room for the restaurant. Plus, beyond that, we also have our bar and lounge. We're looking through the Cochrane atrium out into the Robin Sculpture Garden. You have to use your imagination with the sculpture garden, because what you'll see here will be sculpture. There'll be a reflecting pool, a terrace, and then beyond you see the Pauley Center, which is our headquarters for our education, our statewide resources, and also the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts Foundation is housed in there as well. Now what you're going to see here, this is all glass. All glass, open, glass at the far end. There's going to be skylights coming in. I didn't mention those white pillars. Those are the shafts for the glass elevators. Four-sided glass boxes that will house two of them, one here and one which you can't see at the far end of the atrium. And then, of course, you'll have this look over the sculpture garden. It's unbelievable. We're positioning ourselves as one of the top 10 encyclopedic comprehensive art museums in America. So in the same vein as Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and the like. And because of it, our special exhibition program will mirror that. And our special exhibitions will be things that you won't be able to see other places. And I'll give you one example. Our first major special exhibition, which we will announce later this year, will open at the end of May 2010. That show opens in Paris. It goes to Montreal, and then will finish its tour at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts right here in Richmond. We want to be an anchor that as far south as you go, and to Washington, Philadelphia, Boston, New York to the north. This will be a place, a destination spot for major exhibitions, but then also the collections themselves. So when you think about it, on every level, we have these tremendous collections that people from across the globe will be able to come and see. And there are so many works of art that have not been out for years, if ever. In fact, all the things we've been acquiring the last 3 years, for the most part, have not been on view. This really does vault the museum from being not just a good museum and an extraordinary museum, but being a great museum and truly being a top 10 institution in America. And we've been there on many levels. Now we're going to be able to deliver the whole package.